Hi guys, welcome to the exercise of the month for Conan Fitness. We're going to look at kind of two exercises together actually this month. Legs exercises, leg extensions and leg curls. Typically you go to a gym and there's machines for it. There's the seated leg extension and a seated leg curl as well as lying leg curl. Now if you're in an environment like us where you don't have the machines, we're going to show you how to do it with just dumbbells and bands resistance so that you can get a lot out of it and use all the techniques to hit the muscles of the legs from various angles. They're isolation exercises, so they're just the knee joint, not so much hip joint, but just knee joint. So you know they're certainly not going to overtake your standard typical compound squats, deadlifts, lunges, jumping, etc. But they do have their place in a program. So let's have a look at both leg extensions and leg curls. Okay guys, the way we start with the leg extension using only a dumbbell is to set up a bench, an adjustable bench, so that there's a slight angle for the legs so you're not totally flat, otherwise you won't be working at the best angle against gravity. In fact, there'll be a perfect angle. Too high will also not work as best against gravity. So we're going to place this dumbbell straight in between the feet so that they're literally locked in between the inner, the insole parts of the legs. Steph's going to point her toes, kind of like ballerina toes, and from here the movement purely comes from the knee joint. So she's going to lower that down, keeping the bar locked into the feet there, all the way down till she gets a stretch, and then strong extension, so it's all the quads doing the work and controlling back down. At the bottom it won't so much matter the feet position. In fact, if you're doing a heavy weight you may need to pull your toes back up, but at the extension have full extension in the ankle joint like ballerina toes. Nice and strong on the way up and control on the way back down. Good, and once you hit the bottom, nice and strong on the way up, and you want to just hold it for a split second at the top, not long, just so it doesn't bounce. If you get to the top and it just drops back down, then you're going to lose the tension in the quadricep muscles. But that's a good way to get a nice strong workout, purely isolating the quadricep muscle, that knee extension motion, without the use of machinery. A couple of things you can do at the extension of the motion. You can focus which way your leg I should say, slightly rotates. So you can kind of like rotate your knees ever so slightly out if you like. Try that at the top of the motion, Steph. Just ever so slightly out, correct. It's only a slight motion. You probably won't see that on the video. You can also slightly internally rotate them and it'll hit the quads in a slightly different way. But the main motion is using the dumbbell as the weight, setting the adjustable bench up at the right height. So now let's look at working the back of the leg, the hamstring curl. So leg curl, working the back of the leg or the hamstring, again just the isolated movement at the knee joint, so knee flexion. Two main versions. One is lying. This one doesn't get a very good stretch on the hamstrings. As you know, you stretch your hamstrings from a hip flexed position, but we'll show you that one. But it does isolate the bottom part of the hamstrings quite well as far as getting a bit of burn there. So this is how we set up. With a dumbbell, same kind of way, we place that in between the legs. The feet, I should say, they need to be clamped, so get a good hold of that. And the best place to start is with the knees bent. So start right at the top, and we won't go past about 90 degrees. Come up a bit further into my hand. Great. From here, Steph's going to lower the weight down till she gets a big stretch, so well, as much stretch as you can in the extended position from here, and squeezing the heels right back up to the bum. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze till you get to my hand. At 90 degrees and then control back down. I wouldn't go all the way to the bum because then it's just going to fall and lose tension on the hamstring. So we get a stretch as much as we can and then squeeze up strong, 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 strong into my hand and control back down. Again, control is the key. Very different feel to a machine. There's no sideways control. You have to control that. That's it, right into the hands, control back down. And this time go slightly more forceful on the way up. So we curl up nice and strong, heels to the bum, good, and control back down. The biggest tips being how you hold that dumbbell in your feet. Make sure it's clamped in nice and tight, holding your toes together. And also, if you hold it without pointing the toes like ballerina toes, just like we did in the leg extension, then the dumbbell often pushes on the shin and it can hurt that part of the shin right at this point. So point the toes. Let's have a look at a seated leg curl. You can drop that. Okay, so seated hamstring curl. In the gyms, the whole idea of the seated one is that we've now got the body in an L shape, like you would normally stretch your hamstring with your hips flexed, because in the straight standing position, your hamstring's under stretch. And we're always a big fan of putting the muscle under stretch when it's under tension. That's when it gets the best response. So what we've got here is a setup, same sort of thing, an adjustable bench on a slight angle. How high it is a little bit to do with your leg length, so adjust it right for you. We've just got a simple band set up here attached to a pole, hooked around Steph's ankles. So from here, the thing that we don't want to do is let the back collapse. That's it, do a leg curl like that. Now that still works fine. That's it, controlling all the way out, pulling as far under the bench as we possibly can. Good, and controlling out. That still works the hamstrings in a different range of motion to the lying leg curl. But what we really want to do is get Steph to point her bum back, like her tailbone's pointing back, a nice straight spine and leaning slightly forward so her hamstrings are on a good stretch, and as her legs are up, you feel that stretch? That's pulling on the hammies. That's what we want on every rep. So it's under tension and under a stretch. From here, keeping that tall chest, straight spine, lean forward, now squeeze the heels right under the bench and keep them stretched, the spine up as you slowly release them. Strong on the way under. Good, and control out. Now that's pretty much under constant tension the whole time. To adjust this, you either adjust the strength of your band, as you can know, you can get different resistance bands, or simply pull the bench further away from the pole. That means this band is constantly under more tension. To get into it, basically it's a bit of a funny act. You're going to step in and waddle your way back until you're sitting on the bench, and then you can just use your body weight to flop back onto the bench. That's how you set up to get the most out of it. Keep that lean, keep the bum pointing back, squeeze through the hamstrings and control it on the way out. And guys, we've worked leg extension, leg curl lying and leg curl seated, all without machinery, so hopefully you can use that in your workout progressions. Thanks.